Every story you hear leaves a lesson behind. This is Story Times.
The reunion nobody expected. They say time heals all wounds. But sometimes, time only hides the pain deeper. My name is Daniel, and this is the story of the reunion I never thought would happen. The reunion that changed my life forever. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone. We didn't have much, but we had love, or at least I thought we did. My father, Mr. Okari, was a hard-working man, a strict man, a proud man. We never agreed on anything. He wanted me to become an engineer. I wanted to become a writer. To him, dreams were useless unless they brought money quickly. To me, dreams were everything. Every day, our house felt like a battlefield of silence and disappointment. Until one night, everything exploded. "I am not raising a failure in this house," he shouted. "And I am not living a life that is not mine." I shouted back. Those words broke something that could never be fully repaired. That night, I packed my small bag and walked out of the house. No goodbye hug, no blessing, just silence and pride. Life outside was not kind. The city didn't care about dreams. Landlords didn't accept passion as rent. Hunger didn't respect talent. I slept on friends' floors, sometimes on cold benches, sometimes with empty stomachs. There were nights I whispered to myself, maybe my father was right. But every time I felt like giving up, I wrote. I wrote stories on my phone. I wrote poems in notebooks. I wrote my pain into purpose. Years passed. Slowly, things began to change. A small blog accepted my story. Then another. Then suddenly, my words began to travel where my feet couldn't. Until one day, an email arrived that changed everything. "We would like you to be the keynote speaker at the National Youth Literary Conference." Me, the boy who left home with nothing? They wanted me to inspire thousands. I smiled, but my heart felt strangely heavy, because success feels incomplete when the people who raised you aren't there to see it. On the day of the event, the hall was filled with people, students, writers, teachers, dreamers. As I stood backstage, nervous, one of the organizers approached me. "Daniel, someone asked to see you privately," she said. I frowned. "Who?" She checked the paper and hesitated. "Mr. Okari." My heart stopped. That name, the name I had tried to forget, the name that once meant everything. I almost said no. Pride rose in my chest. Old wounds reopened. But something inside me whispered, "Face it." He stood there when I entered the small room. Older, thinner, gray hair where black once lived, but still my father. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Years of silence filled the air. Then his voice broke. "I have been looking for you." I froze. He stepped closer, his eyes shining with regret. "I heard your name on the radio, then on television. I didn't believe it was you at first." I swallowed hard. He continued, his voice trembling. "I was wrong, Daniel." Those 4 words. I never thought I would hear them from him. He looked down at his hands, ashamed. "I thought I was protecting you, but I was only destroying you. I lost my son because of my pride. The strong man I feared my whole childhood was crying. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Even parents are human. Even strong men make mistakes. Even broken relationships can be healed. I had a decision to make. Hold on to the pain, or choose forgiveness. Forgiveness is not easy. It doesn't erase the past, but it frees the future. I remembered the lonely nights, the hunger, the tears. But I also remembered the little boy who once sat on his father's shoulders. The man who taught me how to ride a bicycle. The voice that once read stories to me before bed. I stepped forward and embraced him. And for the first time in many years, I felt like I was home. Later that day, I walked onto the stage. Thousands of eyes watched me. But this time, my father sat in the front row. When I began to speak, my voice carried more than inspiration. It carried truth. "I stand here today not just as a writer," I said, "but as a son who learned that dreams are powerful, and forgiveness is even more powerful." The crowd fell silent. I told them about the fight, the separation, the pain, the reunion, and then I said the words that shook the entire hall. Sometimes the reunion nobody expects becomes the miracle everybody needs. When I finished, the hall erupted in applause. But the only clap that mattered to me was my father's. Life doesn't always give us perfect families, but it gives us chances. Chances to heal, chances to grow, chances to forgive. If you are watching this and you are holding on to pain against someone you love, talk to them. before it's too late. If you are a parent watching this, listen to your children. Their dreams are not rebellion, they are identity. And if you are a child watching this, understand that sometimes your parents' mistakes come from fear, not hatred. The reunion I never expected became the reunion that saved my soul. We don't always get to rewrite our beginnings, but we can always rewrite our endings. And sometimes, the people we walked away from are the very people we need to walk back to, because healing begins where pride ends.
Thank you for spending this moment with Story Times. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more meaningful stories. Until next time, remember every story teaches a lesson,